Hello, my name is Beth MacDonald Stone and I'm an avid knitter living in Bermuda. I also do knitwear design and really love it, really obsessive about it. Yeah, real passion. Excuse the walking, it's my dog walking around Luna. I'm sure she'll make an appearance around here soon. Anyways, so I was really excited to put together a podcast and talk about my design ideas and design inspirations and you know what keeps me awake at night, excited. Oh, there she is. Hello, Luna. Anyways, and you know, and talk to you all about it and you know, create a dialogue that way. So I live in Bermuda. Bermuda is a great place. It's a teeny island in the middle of the Atlantic. Think of New York, Bermuda, Azores, Portugal. Like, we're right in the middle of the Atlantic. So, and really small, 24 miles long, 2 miles wide at the widest part. So dot in the Atlantic. Yeah, good fun. Lots of hurricanes. We're pretty isolated and it's hurricane season. Hi, Loon. Anyways, so you may wonder why on an island in the middle of the Atlantic would I want to knit or wear knitwear. And actually, while we do have really hot and humid summers, we have also really damp and chilly winters. Also, because it's technically semi-tropical here, our houses aren't insulated. So, yeah, so we don't have, you know, radiators or heaters or, you know, whatever. We do have the heaters from the air conditioning units or space heaters or fireplaces. We, you know, in the winter we run our fireplace in the night to take the edge off, but really it's chilly inside and out. So I love to dress with a sweater, and the sweater is the main sort of focal point of my outfit, which is so much fun because then I get to wear it, show it off, design for it. And you don't really put coats on over top. So it's what you see. You also don't really need to take it off in the inside because quite often the inside of the house is colder than outside because of the dampness. Our houses are built of traditionally Bermuda stone and now concrete block because, you know, the stone, the island will be getting smaller and smaller if we keep using the stone. So yeah, so the houses can be really damp inside. So sweaters are perfect, amazing, you know, and so creative, you know, a way to show your fashion sense, your style, personal style, your interests, colors, whatever. So that's why I'm interested in sweaters and knitwear design. So I keep looking down because Luna is a really lovely dog, but always needs to be rubbed, pet, and everything like that. So she's right there. Anyway, so while I do this podcast, I not only like to talk about my designs, the sweaters, I do knit other people's designs a lot. I love it. It's equally fun for me. So you'll see some of that too. And also I want to talk to you a little bit about Bermuda, and it's kind of a wacky place. It's old, it's a British colony, and there's lots of sort of fun heritage moments and some funny quirks and weather related everything. And you know, Bermuda itself is definitely a personality that I love to live with and is definitely part of my design as well. So hopefully there'll be snippets of that. Definitely, I'm going to make an effort through the different podcasts that, you know, and hopefully that interests you too, because I think it's fabulous here. And it's definitely, I hate the word muse, but an inspiration point for my designs. Yeah, just walking around, talking to people, hearing the stories, living through the weather, you know, love it. So hopefully you'll hear more and more and more about that as the episodes progress. Fingers crossed. Anyway, so let's start with what am I wearing? I'm wearing Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's my last summer knit of the year, and I love it. It's really fantastic. So I've got a little cheat sheet here because I can't remember anything. But anyways, Breakfast at Tiffany's by Heidemarie Kaiser, who is German, I believe, and involved with a wonderful yarn line, which I should have written down, and unfortunately I can't remember. I have some of it downstairs. Anyways, really talented designer. This sweater is fantastic. Summer top is fantastic. It's so beautifully designed. It's absolutely seamless construction from the top down. No picking up of anything. Everything is done and thought out for you. So you cast on with the collar and work your way down. obviously sort of flat until you join under the arms, but just beautiful little details. So you've got sort of like a seed stitch here for the collar, beautiful increases, beautiful detail around the sleeve area here, which again is textured like a sort of seed stitch. Same around the neckline and the hem as well, just a small 6-row seed stitch situation there as well. The fit is amazing. I love the stand-up collar. I did use Shibui Fern, which, you know, sadly Shibui is no longer. And Fern is one of my favorite summer yarns to work with, and I just thought it was, you know, fabulous. So I'm glad I had a little bit left to use here. So this is the color Tar, and this is a 24 stitch gauge, so kind of small, nothing horrific, kind of in my favorite, my sweet spot. Yeah, and I just can't say enough the incredible thought behind this garment. If I knit it again, I might make the V a little bit lower, maybe not. I think it's pretty perfect. I did do one thing when I was knitting this. I was vacationing in New York City. We vacationed there in August to get away from the Bermuda heat, if you can believe it. We go to the New York heat, but at least there's big buildings with air conditioners and lots to see. Anyways, while I was knitting it, I recognized that the Shibui Fern might not necessarily be the most stable, you know, firm yarn to make a collar, and I really wanted this sort of collar to keep its kind of mandarin shape and to stand up kind of in an elegant way. I mean, I think it's a very polished look. So what I did do is I went to M&J Trimming, took the finished sweater with me, or top, and picked, the guy there was fantastic. M&J Trimming, Chelsea, New York City. Can't recommend it enough. The fellow there helped me pick the right size and a color that would just disappear in a cotton grosgrain, which I then just sort of sewed in, and I think it does the trick. So it, you know, holds its shape and looks really pretty, and then I don't worry about it sort of flopping away. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for this one. Yeah, love it, love it. I don't wear my summer knits as much as I want to. Bermuda is really hot and I really perspire heavily, so it does mean that with everything I wear I have to wash. So I pretty much save them. So having something, a summer garment that is really pretty and I'm happy to save to wear on a special occasion, like a special lunch or special dinner or whatever, or, you know, meeting you all. I'm really pleased to do that. And this really does, in my mind, fit the bill and make me feel really good. So I love it. 2 thumbs up, honestly. Breakfast at Tiffany's by Heidemarie Kaiser. Anyways, love it. Brilliant design. The other thing I'd like to talk about today is, so this is, you know, we're all entering fall, and fall is a big time for knitwear designers, and we've sort of been yearning for fall probably through most of the summer, and I continue to yearn. It's really still hot here, but we've got Lee just to our south, so it's pushing a lot of hot, humid weather back up here. Hopefully Lee comes by our west and just brings a bit of wind and cools us off. That's my hope. It looks like a bit of a beast, so, you know, don't necessarily want to get coming too close or too close to the East Coast, but we'll have to see how the week goes. But anyways, at the bare minimum, temperatures will probably drop a teeny bit, at least for a few days. So with the amp up to fall, I have a ton of patterns coming out, releasing. I've pretty much got 1 pattern a month coming out, booked until February, and I've already started tech editing a pattern for March into the spring. So excited, really exciting. I, you know, again, love it, and each one sort of begets another version, another concept, and so it's just a wonderful, exciting cycle that I'm on, and I love it, and I, you know, looking forward to sharing it all with you. So yeah, so the first one that I'm going to be publishing this fall is this, Boxy Blue Raglan here, and I knit this I think last February or March, and then I wore this every day after I finished it. I mean, it's just such a great knit. It was fun to do. It's fun to wear. It goes with everything. I wear it with leggings. I've purposely made a split hem with a bit of a longer hem in the back because I like to wear leggings and maybe a collared shirt underneath it, but I like to hide my backside. No one needs to see that. I also wear, I'm a huge wearer of dresses. So this, it goes over so many of my dresses, and I just love it. I also took it, I had to do a few quick trips, and it's just one of those ones that's great near carry-on, and you just pop it on no matter where you are. Anyways, so this is knit top down, raglan, in the round, seamless, you know, in the round obviously until you get to the hem. The hem is exaggerated, the raglan's exaggerated. I like to play with detail. So I like to play with proportion, and I like to, you know, use that in different parts of the sweater. So here, I like boxy. So the proportion here is exaggerated by a more rapid pickup on the body side and a smaller pickup on the sleeve side. So you can get sort of smaller sleeves with a boxier body. I am an absolute lover of 1960s styles from the sort of mod period where it sort of fitted through the shoulders and then A-line. I think that's universally flattering. And I love to be really comfortable, but I like to be really stylish. And I feel like if my shoulders are fitted and creating some sort of shape for the outfit, then the rest can be loose and flowy and cozy and fabulous and you know, something you're happy to stay in. So that's pretty much in all my designs. I'm really trying to accentuate the shoulders and I don't want to say minimize, but my tummy is my area of concern. Not just for vanity, but I have every gastrointestinal problem. So food allergies and everything else in that area. So this is the area that I like to keep covered and comfortable and have everything fitted through the shoulders, if that makes sense. I hope that's not too much information, but it is what it is. And that's what is the background of my designing. So here, so we've got just an exaggerated rib, exaggerated shaping, super long hem here, and then an even longer hem in the back. The yarn is Rerun Natural in the Gilliatt. Love it. It's one of my favorite yarns. Super springy, super bouncy, beautiful to work with, beautiful to wear. It wears like a dream. Like I said, I wore this every day for 2 months or so, and you know, there's no pilling. There's a few dog hairs, but there's no pilling here at all. So I can't say enough for this yarn. This is really part of a collection of sort of boxies that I've done. The first one was the Creeping Fig, same yarn, similar construction, slightly different details. And I can see this sort of collection growing, and you know, maybe it'd be something that I work on like one a year, and it would be really fun, and it would sort of grow from this kind of boxy Rerun Natural, the Gilliatt, play with it and see where it goes. Yeah, I think it's great. I really love it. I think it's really flattering. There's some test knitters that have done it, and there's a lot of great photos on Instagram of the test knitters, so really worth looking at, especially to see what it looks like in different yarns. And beautiful, beautiful. In fact, I mean, they all were super stunning. But I do know that Sweet Skein of mine, Amanda from Sweet Skein of mine did a great one. And, you know, of course, she's selling her yarn. She's a beautiful hand dyer. So maybe you want to just check out her design too and check out her yarn, because Rerun Natural Gilliatt is wonderful, but there's other options. Anything that's with, it's a 19 stitch count. So anything sort of worsted that you like, and it's flexible, you know. With a teeny bit of math, you can change yarns and slightly gauge. The one other thing I do like, and I mean, this might be because I live in a not so cold place, and again, feel free to modify all my patterns to fit you and your lifestyle and your body. But I do 3/4 length sleeves quite often. Again, you'll see an exaggerated, does the light show it? An exaggerated cuff here. I think it's just stylish. I like having the play of my collared shirts sticking out at the bottom, having them sometimes folded over. But you know, so easy to add length if you prefer longer or shorten or whatever you do. But that was just my style here. There you can see the ribbed long cuff. Anyways, so that's that. So that's kind of my pattern highlight for this episode. My intention, especially for the next sort of 8 months or so, is to have a pattern highlight so that I can talk about what's coming out and really sort of discuss my thought processes behind it, etc. So going from pattern highlights to what am I working on? And I am having so much fun. So when I design, I quite often knit the pattern 2 or 3 times, sometimes only once. This was only knit once, but again, it's kind of from a collection. So there's common theme, there's common repetition in itself and its design. But other things I knit multiple times. So, and I don't want to get into too much detail with them because I'm hoping that, as the patterns are released, I'll spend more time on it. But one design that I'm working on right now, this is the second version that I'm knitting. And you can see it's really needs, will be quite different after a good blocking. And I don't like, the other thing, because of my tummy issues, etc. Let's just put this around my neck. That didn't work. I don't like ribbing to come in at the waist. Well, never say never. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll do something where it's intentional. But so when this will be blocked, it'll be relaxed as well. So this will be sort of another flowy sweater. You can see the top yoke was blocked, and you can see how beautifully the stitches relaxed and opened up. This is going to be called Deep Deen. Deep Deen is an area or an intersection, or it's where one road meets Harrington Sound, which is sort of a body of water down in the eastern end. And the water's really deep. And there's always been sort of stories about monsters in Harrington Sound, and Deep Deen was sort of an unusual, I believe it was unusually deep, and had, I think at one point there was like a little aquarium there too. So Deep Deen. So nautically in mind, I was sort of thinking a fisherman's sweater. So I called it Deep Deen. This again is seamless from the top. It will be sort of, again, 3/4 sleeves. Again, this is one that, again, you can dress up, dress down. I have a sweet spot in length for me. I hope you all have figured out your sweet spot in garment lengths and hems. I'd love to talk a lot more about that in the future. So I have sort of thoughts on that, considerations on where your sweater should stop according to your body. And yeah, sorry, we do a lot of walking and running, and you can see how she's a really strong dog. I find her back legs incredibly strong. Anyways, yes. Oh, no, we're talking about you. Sorry. Anyway, so Deep Deen, really interesting. This is the Hedgehog Tweedy. A great fiber to knit with, again, lovely and bouncy, and it just gets better with age. And where it will fill out with blocking, it'll bloom, so it'll hang beautifully, it'll wear beautifully. I love this sort of speckly colors, and I think it's really fun. This is not a new yarn, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, so this is the all over one color of it, and I'll just quickly flash you the original design, which I'm going to spend more time on, and that was inspired from last year's India Entangled. I went there simply just to see Wandering Flock, love their yarn, and my inspiration was way back then, and I've only just finally gotten to knit it up this summer, the design, and I used 2 colors. Unfortunately, I tried to helical knit, but it's very hard to helical knit a textured pattern. But this is a 2 color version. This is my original sort of idea, but I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this now. This won't come out until after the new year. I'm probably going to be needing test knitters for this in a month or so. So if you're interested, if it appeals, keep me posted. It's my favorite stitch count or gauge for DK weight yarn, so 23 stitches per inch. So I love, you know, the Wandering Flock DK. This is their merino DK. Recently I've used Woolen Vines DK on another sweater that I gave the exact same gauge. I know so many other dyers do that. Like I said, the Hedgehog Tweedy, and I also believe the La Bien-Aimée Tweedy, and just so many, I mean, Santa's Garden, it's double Sunday. I haven't used that yarn. It's actually really cool and I just haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure there's other really amazing, also fabulous yarns that don't, you know, blow the bank. So, and I, you know, use what you have. I'm a total believer in using what you have. This one, in case in point, I really wanted to use another sort of hand-dyed DK weight yarn similar to this, but just in one color, and I wanted to do sort of an off-white. I was thinking the Madeline Tosh. I was at the knitting place this summer hanging out with Dinah and Pam and the lovely girls from the knitting posse, but nothing was, order was coming in, and I was gonna wait, but then I came home and I knew I had the Hedgehog fiber. I was a bit concerned that it would be too busy with all the tweed texture and colors, but it's what I had on hand, and I needed something to knit right away. So knit with what you have. I'm a huge believer, love it. So, and it actually worked out really well. I'm really pleased with the Tweedy. The pattern, I think, has enough definition or enough interest to show through even slightly textured yarn. But anyways, so that is the first thing I'm working on. The second thing I'm working on, and again, a bit of a backstory, because again, this is sort of another kind of collection, I guess, that we'll see if it becomes a collection. But I love funnel necks. I think, again, 1960s, I think it's really flattering. I like to wear collars, or I like to wear scarves, or I like to wear turtlenecks, or in my mind, a funnel neck just hits the spot, and then you don't have to really worry about anything. So this is another design coming out, and but the original version will be coming out in October. So the next podcast will be focused on that. And so this is another sort of boxy sweater with a funnel neck using fluffy, wonderful hair, mohair. Or this has got the Hedgehog Boucle. And again, basically using what you have and double, tripling them up to create this fabulous texture colors and stuff like that. I've got a folded neckband using a contrasting color just for a little bit of fun around here. And then this one is going to be called the Soncy with a twist, because there's going to be an offset cable, a braid coming down this side here. So that's just the Soncy with a twist. The original one, which again, I don't want to spend too much time talking about today because this is going to be our pattern highlight for next time, is the Soncy, and love this. There's a picture of this on Instagram, and again, there's been a good number of test knitters who've knit it, and they look amazing. So this is the Soncy, again, rolled cuffs, funnel neck, and hem. It's boxy as well, exaggerated raglan. I'm really careful not to have too big of an arm, because again, I feel like if it's boxy, the sleeves should be kind of narrowish. And again, I love having the 3/4 sleeve, because I think, just like I think your shoulders are really attractive, I think a person's arm can be so attractive coming out, whether it's with, again, with a collared shirt with a cuff, or without a shirt with a cuff, pretty wrists with maybe a little bracelet, you know, whatever. I think it's really an attractive part of the body, which I like to accentuate and show off. So this is really fun. The Soncy with a twist, like I said, is just a really strange mix of yarns. So we've got, again, like I was saying, the head, and I shouldn't say strange, but it's what I had. So I'm creative. I live on an island in the middle of the Atlantic, like you get creative. So this is a Hedgehog Boucle. One of my test knitters from the Soncy put me onto it. I was really intrigued. I didn't want to recommend it to her because it seemed too light, but sore weight's actually pretty perfect. But it seemed very fine, but it's perfect. Love it. And I've held it together with a yarn that is new to me, and it's really stunning. I found it at Downtown Yarns in New York City, which is in the Alphabet City on Avenue A, down right near Houston. So really neat, teeny tiny yarn store, and really not to be missed. Anyways, they sold me this, or they had Wonderland Yarns, and this is the Unicorn yarn, color Driftwood, and it's the most interesting yarn. It is, so it must be sport weight. It's 310 yards for 100 grams, and it's silk, kid mohair, 63% silk, 23% kid mohair, 11% nylon, and 3% Lurex. So there's a bit of sparkle, and there's sparkle and there's mohair and silk, and it's just really magical. I'm enjoying knitting on this one, but I think I need to find more of this to play with some more. So honestly, this Wonderland Yarns, very cool. I also am using, at Downtown Yarns, I could find one skein of Rowan felted tweed in the Quartz, which I love, and which then when I went to Dinah's at the knitting place, found more. I was really excited, but this is just my one lonely skein that I'm using for the, you know, the contrasting color. And then I had a really great Hedgehog, what do they call it? Their silk mohair in, oh, I wrote it down, in, what is it in? Soncy with a twist, Rowan felted tweed Quartz, and Hedgehog Fibers Mohair Iris. So, you know, kind of neat. So this is what I'm playing with, and I quite love them. And the Hedgehog Boucle is color Anime. So interesting. Beautiful, incredible dyer. Incredible dyer. Anyways, so I'm excited with that. Right now I'm working on starting the cable. Not much to see. It's kind of really offset. Playing with the space between each cable turn. I don't want it tight, but I don't want it too loose and loosey-goosey. So, you know, play with that and see where we go. So that is kind of what's on my needles right now. And super excited about all of that, and really excited to talk to you more about the Soncy, which I will do more next time we meet, which I believe is going to be 3-4 weeks. But the one thing that I have that I need to find test knitters for sooner rather than later is what I'm calling the Calabash sweater. Now Calabash tree, it's, I'm sure they're probably in California or even in the South. They're beautiful big trees, and they have, and I should have found one. I don't know where I'd find one right now, but they have these big, beautiful gourds on them. They are green when they're on the tree, and then they dry up and become brown. When I got my first car, I was so proud of that car. Loved it. It was really old car, but I loved it. It was wheels. It was a four wheels and a roof. And so I lovingly parked it under a calabash tree until my then boyfriend, now husband, reminded me that I was giving the roof of my car a wicked texture because those calabashes fall on the roof, and I had pockmarked the whole roof of the car. It was pretty dumb, but kind of funny. Anyways, so love calabashes. I thought it was hilarious. You know, here I was trying to protect my car, and little did I know I was totally messing it up. But so this sweater is called the Calabash sweater, and I love it. I'm gonna stand up. So, not that standing up really helps. So again, it's a fitted upper body, and then it gets to be quite swingy in the body too. So there's two variations on this one. So this is one I, again, knit twice. This one is in the Jamieson & Smith Heritage Naturals, which I held together to create a sport weight. It's a bit dense. This is definitely gonna be a warm sweater. This will be good for the really cold, windy days. So this one I did with, because of that, I purposely did do longer sleeves, longer straight sleeves, neither fitted nor full, with a really simple cuff. I did a split hem here. Again, I like the bodies of my sweaters to hang. Now this has been folded up all summer, so I should have maybe steamed it, but there's a bit of, in a lot of my sweaters, you'll find increases on the body, and that's because, again, I like a bit of an A-line. I did the same thing here. It's just a bit swingy, so I've done an A-line shaping here. You don't need to. If it appeals to you, go for it. If it doesn't, don't. High-low hem, but again, just not as exaggerated, obviously, as the Boxy Blue sweater. Really fun. Now the color work in the yoke is very neat, very interesting, and there are some longer floats. So in the pattern, I give you links to tutorials on ladder back jacquard. That concept really intimidated me, literally, until I knit this sweater. There are these elongated baubles. It's a bauble stitch. It's not like baubles where you go back and forth and back and forth. It's literally over 5 rows, I think. It's been a while, but over 5 rows or so to create these baubles, the calabash. But then obviously with the increases, they start getting more separated, and I wanted them to be an organic shape at the bottom, so there's even more spaces. So I have linked to great tutorials to show you ladder back jacquard techniques, so you can literally have that effect. Now I am so excited about ladder back jacquard, and it was so easy in the end. Absolutely not tricky, was not worth me panicking about as much as I had. And I do believe some people explain it better than others. Like, you know, I hope the explanation, the link that I put in is helpful for you, but if not, just keep looking. I know that Fruity Knitting's done one. That one I didn't find that helpful, but again, everyone hears things differently. I'm a huge believer in that. Yeah, so I can't remember who did the tutorial that I put in the pattern, naughty me, sorry, but really helpful. And that one, it just clicked and it made so much sense. So this is a great sweater if that is something you want to learn to do. It's really easy. I can't tell you enough. So that is one version of the calabash. And yes, as you can see, I've done a color changing yarn. This is Spin Cycle. You don't need to use Spin Cycle. I love Spin Cycle. I think it could be great in a solid color. You know, anything would probably is fine with the heavy fingering. Sport weight is what, you know, the rest of the pattern. Yeah, this is my other version. This is with, oh my goodness, there's a lot of dog fur on this, I guess. Anyways, I had it on the couch, and Luna was clearly on the couch too. This is using La Bien-Aimée Sport in the Madeleine color for the body, and also another Spin Cycle for the calabash motif. And this one I did really fitted sleeves and just past the elbow. This one I did more of a tunic length, and again, A-line shaping with not a split sleeve, again, because I'll probably want to wear my leggings with this. So in the pattern, you will not only get the chart and stuff for the yoke with the link to the jacquard, ladder back jacquard, you'll also get 2 options for sleeves and 2 options for body. Yeah, and this is knitted inside out. So the yoke is knitted right side out, and then you turn it inside out and knit the body inside out for the reverse stockinette texture. One thing to discuss, I like a tight sleeve. Now, every part of your body is so different for everyone else's, and arms are really no different. In fact, I almost think that there's more variation in arm shape, width, length, than almost anywhere else than the chest. You know, anyway, so I give you my stitch count, but if you wish a smaller sleeve, a bigger sleeve, again, know your body and, you know, easily pick up more stitches under here. No problem. If you need it dramatically bigger, you can just add, you can knit this size up and just put more stitches on the sleeve. Again, I think as a knitwear designer, it's really important to play with proportion and shape and fit and everything like that. I exaggerate shoulders, arms, and loose bodies. Know what works for you and start to know what you need in numbers. You know, my arm is 11 inches around up here. That's what I need. It's very easy if you need 9 inches, if you need 12 inches, if you need 14 inches. You know, all of the patterns have schematics. It's really easy to adjust. We're trying to make bespoke fitting things. Some of mine are loose and, you know, really hit the generic, you know, should be almost all encompassing, although even that's impossible. Some of them where I do really exaggerate certain things, like a tighter neck or sleeves, or really fitted shoulders, which is one coming up. You know, there is something where you need to kind of know yourself too a little bit, and that's what gets you the special, bespoke fit that we're all looking for. And as knitters, we can do it. We can do it all. It's so exciting and it's so wonderful. I mean, we all have our things that we want to show off, things that we want to, you know, maybe hide or make comfortable. For me, my stomach, I don't want to hide it. I just want to make sure that there's no stress on it, that area in the midsection. And so that's what I designed for. And you know, if my exact numbers work for you, amazing, hurrah. If you need to tweak it a little bit, please do. We all are unique and we should embrace that. So that's a test knitting call for the Calabash. Now, I wouldn't be releasing this until January, I believe. So it's quite a long test. If you're interested, drop me a note on Instagram. I'm Beth MacDonald Stone there, or Ravelry, again, Beth MacDonald Stone. I'm really casual with my test knits. I send them out by email. I follow up once or twice. If there's any problems, let me know. We'll work it out. It's not structured. It's pretty casual, but that's kind of how I roll. So that's it. So yeah, so those are pretty much everything for knitting. And like I said, I did want to talk a little bit about life in Bermuda and our quirky culture, life, story, whatever. And so today is kind of a big day, and it's part of a big day for my son because he turned 60 on the 4th of July. Oliver Stone, born on the 4th of July. I know we didn't really figure that out until, and we knew Oliver Stone, but we didn't really figure out the born on the 4th of July until he was 6 months old, and by then it was pretty much a done deal. But anyways, he loves his name, we love his name. So Oliver Stone, born on the 4th of July, turned 16, and we hummed and hawed about getting a bike. Bikes are dangerous. By bikes I mean scooter. It's not a motorcycle, it's a scooter. And hummed and hawed. He got to school, got his curriculum, his schedule or whatever, and it was really clear, you know, he needs to come and go, he needs trans, and he needs to, you know, have the experience of independence and stuff like that. So went out and got him a bike. He practiced with his grandfather on the weekend because my husband and I don't have bikes anymore. We when we got the business vans or our household car, we just never renewed our bikes. So so Jeff's dad still has a bike and he's very patient. He went out and rode around with Oliver. Oliver did take a class through the school called Project Ride. But that's just through pylons and cones, making sure you could turn and stuff like that, but really nothing on the road. So kind of, we're terrified parents. So today Oliver took his bike to school for the first time. So it's a really big deal. So Bermuda 16, you've got your first bike. Oh my God, so cool. And off he goes to school. My husband followed him. He will not be caught speeding anytime soon. We need to have a little chat with him about keeping up with the speed. Yeah, it's all good. And it just brings back so many memories of when I got my first bike. I was a bit older than 16 because I grew up, I'm Bermudian and Canadian. I grew up in Toronto. I was here teaching sailing in the summers. And oh, that bike, just so much fun. I mean, the roads are beautiful. They're windy and they're tight and they're busy, but they're beautiful. And the hot summer day, the feel of the cool breeze, you know, as you're riding along, and freedom and everything like that. So I really hope he enjoys that. Like I said, he won't be speeding. The bikes that you get when you're 16, you're entitled to 50 cc, so that's a pretty small engine. My guy's kind of a tall guy, and so he's not gonna, you know, it's gonna be hard work to get over the speed limit on that thing. So much and so that when Oliver's grandfather was out with him on Saturday, at the end he's like, well, good buddy, you did really well, but you don't need to slow down so much on the hills. And Oliver started to laugh, and apparently he had the throttle full on and was lucky just to get up the one big hill to our house. So that was pretty funny. So yeah, not worried about him speeding yet, at least not this week, maybe next week, but he's gonna have to zoop that bike up if he's really gonna get speeding. In Bermuda, we, so bikes at 16, you can't get a car license at 16. Car licenses come at 18. Like I said, the island is so small. It's about 24 miles long and 2 miles at the widest point. It's quite well populated, so they have limited car numbers, one per household. So you don't get your car license until you're 18, and the kid's not going to get a car. You know, if a kid wants trans, it's on a bike. So at 18, also they're allowed to get up 100 cc. So that's when you can, what's called towing. So having a friend on the back with the 50 cc, it's not allowed to tow. Not that he could. So anyway, so that's that. So that's sort of a fun bit of Bermuda, and gosh, we all have stories about bikes. And the first time what's called decking, you know, when you literally, I hope Oliver decks going up the hill where he's barely going forward, and it's just a little tip. But you know, it's again another rite of passage, and the stories that everyone has. I always remember my aunt who used to say that she would come off the bike, and she didn't drive a bike anymore because she came off too much. And I always thought that was pretty funny, because I would just picture sort of like being ejected from the bike. And I always would picture in my mind, you know, there's my aunt riding home after work, whatever, and would, you know, literally be ejected into the bushes. But no, really, she decked. But anyways, bikes aren't for everyone. Hopefully it works for Oliver. Hopefully he's fine. We're gonna go at the end of the school day and drive behind him home. And we hopefully won't do that for too many days, because that seems a bit neurotic. But anyways, being a parent's not easy. So that's pretty much everything for today. I hope I've entertained you a bit and maybe inspired you, and given you a bit of an idea about our funny life in Bermuda. I hope to be back in October to talk about Soncy and that pattern that's going to be released. Again, if you're interested in test knitting, you know where to find me. I'll put the links to Instagram and Ravelry down below. I haven't done that yet, so wish me luck. Yeah, and going to Rhinebeck in October. Can't wait. Please let it be cooler. You know, I just can't wait to wear something with some layers and be all bundled up and see the beautiful colored trees and feel fall, autumn would be lovely. So fingers crossed it's cooler. Can't wait to go. Don't really care if it is hot. I've got a few summer knits too. Just looking forward to seeing you all there and having a blast and being so inspired by everyone's project. So looking forward to that for sure. So that's it for today. Talk to you soon. Hope you have a wonderful couple weeks full of lots of knitting and happiness. Thanks so much. Bye.